everybody, I'm Matt Valley. Welcome to the Rock and Roll Research Podcast, where we share the super cool backstories and side gigs of the insights and analytics pros that you trust. Today's guest is Alisa Hamilton, who is the founder, moderator, and research extraordinaire at a company based in Atlanta, Georgia called Harvest Insights, which, oh, by the way, she founded, and she did so in 2014. Maybe you've worked with them. It's a great company. She's also the chapter organizer in Atlanta for the wonderful group Wire, that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. So she's been very active in the Wire. So super cool stuff. She's been around, great researcher, all that. And what really caught my attention is in a world of AI opaqueness that we all deal with in the insights industry, Alisa has actually been a beacon of transparency. So it must be maybe a month or two ago now. She came out with this announcement that she is now offering two prices for all of her prospects and customers when they get a proposal from her, two prices with AI, without AI. And what that entails, what's included. It's radical transparency in this space, right? So that's very exciting. I definitely want to hear a little bit about that. But as you might have guessed, by the name of her company, Harvest Insights, she has a deep, deep passion for gardening. So we got lots of great things to discuss today. So welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I wish we were in my garden right now, but I'll settle.
Well, I'm very excited to have you, and just a lot of great chatter on LinkedIn and actually the Punk MRX WhatsApp community about your pricing things. So I'd love to get into that. Before I do want to send a shout out to our episode sponsor, which is a great company called Insight Sutras. Insight Sutras is an outsourcing and offshoring partner for market research companies like Harvest Insights and similar individual consultants, that sort of thing. They help them go by providing analytics and operations support. Excellent work, experts at what they do. Great company. Check them out, insightsutras.com. So, with that, Alisa, let's get into it. So, take us all the way back. How did you first find this crazy industry of insights in the first place?
Oh gosh. Well, like lots of people in this industry, I didn't plan on ending up here. I have a master's in sociology, and I was actually in a PhD program, planning to become a professor and teach. But I went straight through undergrad to grad. So by the time I started teaching and working towards my PhD,
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I knew exactly enough to be teaching people that were basically almost my own age. So I finished my master's and I loved the research part of the PhD process. But you know what I didn't love? Did not love how long it took to do research in academia. So
For sure.
I happened to find a job doing research for the state of Tennessee and got to work on all kinds of fun things like truancy and what costs more, people on death row or people with, lifetime sentences, like these crazy projects. And then that also takes a long time. So then I found a marketing research company and I just sort of never looked back. It was a small company, and the guy that ran it was wonderful, taught me everything he knew, and just kind of grew from there. So yeah. And then in 2014, I just took a leap of faith and decided to start my own company. Mostly, I had young kids and I was traveling a lot and I had a lot of responsibility, as did my husband. And so, yeah, so I just stepped off that corporate highway and started my own thing. And this been doing it ever since.
Yeah, that's great. So let me ask you about this because I'm sure we both know a lot of people that kind of come to this juncture, right? So they've worked for companies for a lot of years and they're thinking about starting their own thing, right?
Yeah.
Feels kind of scary. So you did it. You bet on yourself and you said, okay, I'm going to do this. So tell us a little bit about that thought process.
Yeah, I did. I think I had been in the industry for a long time before that, and I had a pretty big network. And so I was able to, you know, ping that network and get some jobs just out of that to start out with. And then it sort of grew naturally from there. And I've helped a lot of other entrepreneurs or people that wanted to go out on their own since then start their own companies. And that's been super rewarding. I think the advice that I give today is very different than the advice had given to people that started maybe 2 or 3 years ago. The
Yeah.
market's a little different right now, but yeah, it's been super rewarding, and it's hard to imagine going back now.
Yeah, yeah. Now I know that your company does all kinds of stuff in research, right? So you do qualitative and quantitative and all kinds of things. And like I said, I thought it was really gutsy what you did with this transparency thing. And I'm just tell us how that came about. You know, why was that important, and tell us a little bit about the process.
Yeah, that really came about from conversations that I was having with clients, but also just with colleagues and friends in the industry who are all, I mean, we're all trying to make sense of AI right now. And I think
Sure.
what I was struck by is, especially folks on the client side that I was talking to, they weren't even sure how or if their vendors were using AI. And,
Yeah.
it dawned on me that I wasn't being particularly transparent with it either. I mean, because we're all just trying to figure out how to use it. And to be honest, it doesn't save as much time as people think that it will, but it does save some. And especially if you work it and work it and work it and get it to a point where you've trained it, it can save some. So for me, it's less about the pricing and, like, you're not going to realize a 50% difference from using AI, but the
Sure.
idea that companies are, potentially using it and then just not really being transparent about how they're using it or passing on those time or price savings
Right.
really kind of bothered me. So I just said, okay, well, we're just going to be transparent about it, and we'll tell you exactly how we're using it. We'll tell you what steps of the process we're going to use it on. If you're not comfortable with us using it, we won't use it. But
Yeah.
I just want it to be a open conversation and not like something that we're shoving in the corner and doing, quietly and hoping nobody notices. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I love it. And just thinking about clients that I've interacted with, it feels like there's sort of there's two schools. You know, you've got the clients that's the first thing on their mind. It's like, how are you incorporating AI? Are you incorporating AI? That's really important to us, right? And then there are the others that say, hey, you know what? We've got a governance issue here. And it's just a snake pit if you're using AI. So we don't want any AI. And you know, how can they trust really that if you're offering something that you're not using it anywhere? So it's very interesting. It feels like you're able to sort of accommodate both camps.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to. I think there's industries that are much more on one side of that than the other. A lot of the clients and colleagues that I've talked to are actually less interested in the price savings. That's nice, but what they're really interested in is the timeline savings. How much time can you save me
Yeah.
by using AI? And so it's, that's where the conversation, like I said, the pricing is nice and it's eye catching, like, oh wow, this is something new and different. But I think the real kicker is the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Just one last point on that, because I did do a podcast with Market Vision, company Market
Hmm.
Vision in Cincinnati, where we're sharing out an experiment that they did. And now this is like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
So a lot has changed in a year and a half. But I think the going in assumption was, hey, we're going to save a bunch of time. And that's the advantage that we're going to see. But they did an experiment. So exactly what you're talking about. Here we did the analysis of this qualitative study using AI, and here we did it with 100% human. So they're expecting it to be faster. It turned out not to be faster, and the
Yeah.
advantages really were around. having another voice, kind of going through the transcripts. And it was very similar, but, the AI sort of picked up on one thread that the moderator didn't necessarily in terms of a conclusion. It was at least thought-provoking enough to consider. And so they felt like, hey, it's really more about better additive insights than it is about time savings. I'm sure things have changed a bit since then, but just curious about your reaction to that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's it's even now. I mean, even if that was done a year and a half ago, I just don't think that the time savings and the quality is as is, in some cases being promoted. It requires so much human intervention and so much human training, even in systems where, it's built into like a programming platform, or it's built specifically to do qual transcript reading and analysis.
Sure.
Even in those cases, it requires a lot more. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be flip a switch, throw the
Yeah.
transcripts in, bing, bang, boom, everything comes out. Look, I have a whole report. And it will do that. That's the problem. It will do
Right.
that. It's just not good.
We'll do that, but you have to invest all of that time in the checking and
You
uh,
do.
all of that stuff, right? And so that's real time. It's maybe different work, but it's still time, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah,
All right,
it
so
is.
tell us about gardening.
Oh my goodness. Yes, my dad and my grandfather were both gardeners. They each had gardens, and every year they would have like a little competition over, whose garden was the best. And so yeah, I've always had this passion. I'm terrible with indoor plants. I'm terrible with flowers, I will grow you a vegetable.
Now, see
So
that
I
that's more practical, right? Then you actually get something on it beyond beauty and all that kind of stuff, right? So
That's
it's
right.
utility.
Yeah, I'm very practical. So I like to grow things that I can eat. And the difference between a tomato that you grow in your garden and one that you buy at the store is it's life changing. Like people who've never had a cherry tomato off the vine will, have one at my house and be like, oh my gosh, this is so different.
Yes, I feel that way about raspberries. We had raspberry bushes growing up in my backyard, and like that's a death row meal for me. It's like a pile of raspberries from when I was a kid.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. And strawberries, anything really
Yeah.
is different.
So what are some of your passion vegetables, fruits to grow? You mentioned tomatoes, but what else is in it?
Yeah, tomatoes is really the big one. I think that's where you get the biggest variation from what you can buy at the store. But gardening, just like research, like I like to problem solve. I like to, whatever you're doing in research, something always comes up. Even the research project itself is a problem to solve. And gardening is like that every year. Every year it's something different.
Right.
One year everything gets eaten by some random bug you've never seen before, or there's a drought, or there's too much rain, or that you can't control for everything.
Yeah.
So while I try really hard to grow great tomatoes every year, it doesn't always work. And so like this year I have too much eggplant. I don't know why. This year I have a lot of eggplant. Last year I had no eggplant. I don't know. Um, but I have the staples that I always put in: cucumbers, eggplant. I have yet to grow a very nice zucchini here for some reason. They always get eaten by bugs, but
Yeah.
it's just it's kind of a constant battle. And you probably, if you ask any home gardener, they'll probably tell you like the amount of time and money that you spend on your garden far outweighs like the earnings that you get back from not having to buy vegetables.
That's right.
Probably
Yeah.
like tenfold. I probably spend 10 times as much for one tomato.
Totally get that. Totally get that. So I like how in a lot of the marketing and messaging of your company over time, you've played a little bit with the parallels between, gardening and research. But From your perspective, how do you see, are there certain things you've learned from the process of gardening that you apply to your work, your professional work?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the very first AI usage that I ever tried was in gardening because, like I said, you're always solving problems. And
Right,
so
right.
I can't now. I used to go out to the garden all the time without my phone and just piddle around. Now I have to bring it because I have to bring Claude with me and show him, like, why is this pepper turning this color? Like, what's going on with this leaf over here? So
Right.
once I saw how great it was at that, it was pretty easy for me to go, oh, wait, if it can solve my gardening problems, if it can identify like this a little cutout in a leaf and
Yeah.
what exact bug that is that's eating that leaf, dang, can probably help with some of my research issues too.
God, it's so unbelievable. I was talking to my kids about this last week, where some question came up. We just looked it up, asked AI, and we got the answer immediately. I'm like, you know what? I just had this thought. I'm like, back in the day, I had to write this on a slip of paper, and it's like, oh, you know what? It's okay. It's Friday afternoon. On Monday, when I'm at school, I'm gonna go check the encyclopedias in the library and
Yes,
see what that has to say about this, right? So just
I had the Encyclopedia Britannica, A through Z, and then you'd get the update every year.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's just mind blowing. But okay, cool. So I know you've been very involved in AI, and you've got a lot of great videos on it. Uh, but I don't want to color your answer to this question. I'm curious from your perspective as you look out into the future of insights. What do you see?
Oh, that's such a big question. I think AI can go a number of ways. I hope and I think that to some degree, just like, you know, only a certain number of people had the Encyclopedia Britannica
Yeah,
back in the day, and you had to go to the library to get answers. I hope that AI will, to some degree, democratize market research, which is always something that I sort of wanted to do with Harvest, was to be able to, service maybe smaller companies that don't have, or mid-size that don't have a whole insights department or just have one or two people. Um, and so I think that over time, if we do it right, research can be something that lots of companies can do,
yeah,
regardless of if they have, six-figure budgets to throw around or even five-figure budgets to throw around.
right.
Um, I think the challenge that I see right now in going there is that you can go too far too quickly in that direction. And if everybody thinks, oh, I can just write a questionnaire, you start to get a lot of slop, like, bad data in, bad data out type of stuff.
Yeah,
And so I think, I hope that it allows for researchers like us that have been doing it for a long time to come alongside and just say, yeah, DIY is great if you know how to do it properly.
for sure.
You don't have to spend five figures. You can still DIY, but maybe just have somebody come along to sort of help you with it. And, then you don't have to learn it either. You can just
Yeah. Yeah, for
spend
sure.
less and get
I think
good
that's
data.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I was just having a conversation recently about, right now, a lot of this stuff is starting out, but people are utilizing AI to generate surveys, right? Generate focus moderator guides. But the people who are doing that, and the corpus of data that it's based on is based on trained people with expertise, right? Uh,
Hmm.
Fast forward 5 years, and you've got new entrants into this discipline of research and insights, and how do they learn those basics, if AI is
Yeah.
doing all the work, right? And where does that come from? How does it evolve? Does it just get static?
Yeah.
I'm riffing here, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. I think that's a lot of people's concerns is, if you are using synthetic data and you're doing all these things, but you're basing it on bad data to begin with, you're getting bad data out of it. Like there's no, and I think a lot of I worry because I think a lot of companies that are stepping into our industry are not run by researchers. They're run by technologists, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing at the helm,
Yeah.
then what you're getting out is probably not going to be, tip top shape. And that's kind of what I'm seeing and what's sort of unfortunate. And I test a lot of technology. Um,
Yeah.
and I want to say, if I had to get on my soapbox and tell them one thing, it's like, please just try to do the basics well, okay? I don't need you to go from never having written a survey to making an AI that writes an entire survey. I need you to could you just take my survey and put it into just put the questions into your program.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
put that.
Right.
Just if it could do that, that would be so great. Then we'll go to the next step of, can you add the skip logic? Then we'll go to, like, there's 400 steps between an idea and a questionnaire.
Right.
We don't
Yeah.
we don't need to get to here already, okay?
If you go from 0 to 100, you end up like backing it all the way back to zero again and starting over. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Cool, cool. All right, Alisa. So we're all busy. You're busy, right? I know obviously you're using Claude and all that good stuff, but we all are stuck on our phones. We're all consuming media of our choosing, yeah, either for productive purposes or not, right? So what media is earning your time for insight, inspiration, or just pure enjoyment? Big, broad question.
Big broad question. I spend a lot of time on YouTube.
Yeah.
I have My husband happens to be, he's not in insights, but he's very AI um enthralled. He's very enthralled with AI. Okay. So I'll come down in the morning and he'll be like, "Oh my God, you gotta watch this video. Gotta watch this video about AI." So I spend a lot of time watching, AI tutorials on YouTube.
Yeah.
The other thing that we do, especially, now, because there's things coming out of the garden, is we watch a lot of like YouTube food tutorials. And that's my favorite thing when I wake up and he's been watching YouTube food tutorials. I'm like, oh, this is great, because he's going to try to make a recipe and perfect it. And that's good for me because because it's always like good. And then I'll have to say, well, good. I think you should try again. I think it could be a little bit better. And then we'll watch another video and he'll make it again. So that's what we uh that's our nerdy fun, I guess, in our house.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay. Now, Elisa, that it is called the Rock and Roll Research Podcast.
Yes.
Talked rock and roll. But I will say I have been, if you're watching this on video, I've been silently flexing because, there's this band called Rush, and I just saw them on tour. Annika Niels, I'm also a drummer. Annika Niels is the most amazing replacement drummer for Neil Peart, rest in peace. I can't even say enough about it. So I just had to flex. Uh,
Yeah.
because I just got my tour shirt, right? So Alisa,
Awesome.
this isn't about me, right? You are stranded on a desert island. You have three albums of your choosing to keep you company for the rest of your days. What are those albums?
Okay, I think that these are going to be surprise albums. Let's see. I'm going to start with the most like normal one, which is, I'm going to go with the best of Billy Joel, because
Yeah, yeah.
I love that was like my music growing up. My dad used to play it a lot. Piano Man, I think, is just great, and it makes you feel like you're in a bar surrounding by with people. So if
Sure.
you're on a desert island, what's better than to feel like, oh yeah, sing me a song?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it.
The second one is the Hamilton soundtrack,
Yes, yes.
because my that's one that my daughters and I have listened to a million times, and I think I could listen to it a million more and probably not get every single word. So it'd give me something to do.
I have to ask, is there a name connection?
There is Not that I know of. I don't think so. I wish, but no.
Okay.
And then here's the kicker. Are you ready, Matt?
Ready, bring it on.
All right. You're a drummer. My dad was a bassist and lead singer in a band called Burned, which was a big deal in Buffalo, New York in the 70s.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Yeah, so when my mom and dad met, he was the lead singer of this band, and my mom was a groupie. And, yeah, and they ended up getting married and having me. And he had one hit song.
My God. Okay, no,
That's
what's the style? What kind of music they play?
it was like 70s rock, you
Okay.
know, you
You're
know.
gonna have to send me the link. Actually, I might post it when I post it on LinkedIn in the comments if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'll have to find a link to the song itself that played on the radio. But yeah, so that's my big rock and roll. I have zero musical talent. I wish any of it had been passed down. My youngest daughter also was when she was younger, she was a drummer and she was great, for
Yeah.
her age, like 7, 8. But as soon as they said, like, well, now you have to kind of start reading music, she was like, nah, I don't need that.
Yeah, that's kind of the boring part,
Yeah,
right?
because she can hear something and play it.
Yeah.
So we never could get her back, but she obviously got it. It must have skipped a generation. I don't know.
Now, is this the one actually that's playing D1 soccer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Multi-talented. That's impressive.
Yeah. And my other one's a swimmer. So they could not be more different.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but the musical talent did not hit this generation. I don't know.
That's great. Well, I love your choices, particularly the last one. And I'm just thinking, as a dad, I have 3 kids. If fast forward, however many years, and if one of my kids chose one of my records as their desert island disc, which will not happen, that would be such a great honor. So,
It might, you never know. Once they get older, they start to appreciate you a little bit more. At least that's what I'm telling myself because, now both of mine are teenagers, so it's
yeah.
not cool.
Well, it's a wonderful sentimental choice. So I can't wait to hear the song, right? I would love to hear it. But I really appreciate that we've had a chance to chat.
Yeah, it's been
I get
fun.
to Atlanta every so often. I'm sure you get to Dallas on research. So next time, let's get together in person.
Yeah.
Conversation, that'd be great. Until then, rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Look, I can't even do it right. Rock and roll.